What's up, everybody? And today we are checking out Marines Outsmart DARPA's Advanced AI. This is by the Fat Electrician. We've watched two of his videos before this. We did one on Monday and one a couple weeks ago. His videos are brilliant. His comedy is brilliant. I feel like it aligns with my sense of humor, which makes me really enjoy his videos more. And he just seems like an all-around cool guy, so let's watch some of his videos. I don't want to watch too many of his videos, so this might be the last one of his for a little while. But he seems like a cool guy, so maybe if I can get in touch with him. In fact, the Fat Electrician, if you're watching these videos, firstly, slip into me DMs. Secondly, I dare you to do a video on the British Royal Marines Commandos and how fucking cool they are. Because that's the branch I was in, and I want you to do a video on them because I love your informational videos and the way that you make them. I feel like it would be really beneficial. All right, let's shut up. I'll stop waffling on. If you want to watch the video without me waffling over the top of it, you can do that. As always, there is a link in the description. First line of the description is always there. It is the original video if you don't want to hear me chatting over it. If you just want to watch the source, if you want to go over there, check out his channel, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, head over there and do it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on our videos because it helps with that mysterious YouTube algorithm. You might also know that I still sound like shit, all right? My throat is still sore. I still have a cut on my nose from when my 3-year-old daughter whacked me in the face with a plastic giraffe. I like to get beat up by my kids. You know, I let them beat me up. It gives them a sense of pride and a sense of self-ability. Do you know what I mean? Lets them know that they're capable of things. Anyway, let's shut up. Let's watch this. Let's have some fun. Let me turn... let's not turn subbies on, actually.
By popular demand after this tweet went viral on the internet, today we're talking about that time that 8 Marines went toe-to-toe against DARPA's artificial intelligence in an epic battle of wits and won.
Inconceivable!
Okay, so here's the deal. That tweet is a picture of half a page from a book that hasn't even come out yet. That book is 4 Battlegrounds by Paul Scher, and it comes out next month, February 2020.
4 Battlegrounds by Paul Scher. Let's have a quick look what this book is all about real quick. 4 Battlegrounds. Just because I'm, as you probably know, as the bookshelves behind me, I'm a massive book nerd. And so let's see what it's all about. A new industrial revolution has begun, like mechanization of electricity before it. Artificial intelligence will touch every aspect of our lives and cause profound disruptions in the balance of global power, especially among the AI superpowers, China, the United States, and Europe. Autonomous weapon experts Paul Scher takes readers inside the fierce competition to develop and implement this game-changing technology and dominate the future. That's just a little kind of excerpt from the back of the book. I might look into that book because I like these types of books.
And I actually reached out and got a hold of Paul to get the whole story, and here's what I found out. Once upon a time in 2019, DARPA had a program known as Squad X. The overall goal of this program was to be able to integrate an autonomous AI with an infantry unit, RoboGrunt. They wanted to make RoboGrunt. Basically, they were going to take an artificial intelligence, shove it inside of a flying drone or a little car drone or inside of a robot dog, and it was going to follow the grunts out into battle and act as an early warning system.
All right. I don't know how I feel about this. There's multiple red flags I'm getting from as someone who was boots on the ground, right? As someone who was trained to be on the ground. Before he gets into the story, let me kind of give you my thoughts, my first impressions of having this AI bot on the ground with you. Firstly, just like the comms system that we have, you can't leave anything behind, right? One bit of our comms is detrimental if we lose it. So usually you to the point of if you have to move, you would put phosphorus on it. I can't talk, sorry guys, I'm sorry. You put a phosphorus grenade on it and destroy it because it's so important nobody gets a hold of our comms, okay? First and foremost. So if this is just as important, the technological aspect of this is as important as something like our comms, right? It becomes another responsibility that the lads on the ground have, or it becomes an extra person that has to come along just to look after this thing. And how much do you want that on the ground? How much do you want that extra bit of something in the back of your mind. If it's seamless and it doesn't get in the way and you don't have to look after it and it's completely hands off to the lads on the ground, then I'll think about it. But when you're on the ground and you've already got a million things going through your head, whether that's, keep an eye on everything around you, IEDs, ammo, distribution of weight between you and the lads, comms going off, making sure you're in the right area, checking on the maps. There's so many layers to being boots on the ground that adding another layer is always very dangerous, especially if it's not if it's like finicky, right? Technology can always fail. That's a bit of a worry. As someone who's a bit more old-fashioned in that way, I don't think I like it. But that's my first impressions. Let's see what they say.
Cameras and sensors, it would be able to identify enemies from way further out than a human ever could. Not a terrible idea. So DARPA got to work, they built the robots, they built the AI, but then they actually had to train the AI how to identify people. And apparently the best way to do this was by just actually doing it. So they brought in 8 Marines for a week to help train this artificial intelligence.
I want to point out what he's saying now. I did computer science at school. I went to... one second, my phone needs to go in charge. I don't know why I wanted to stop to do that. I did computer science at the University of Maine, and although I didn't finish the degree because of the YouTube channel, I certainly got quite a long way. I only had a couple semesters left, and I learned a lot about artificial intelligence, and we did some stuff when I was doing an internship and built our own artificial intelligence. And for the reason he's saying that the only way for it to learn is to be on the ground is because that's what actually happens. You need data. So the best way to get that data set is to be on the ground and actually basically give it as much information, feed as much information in the machine as possible, and it only gets better and better. But if you have too much information on it, it can get a little bit detrimental and it can go the opposite way. So yeah, I agree with him that the only way that this would work is if it actually had experience.
And for the first 6 days, it went great. Basically, the AI just watched the Marines walk around and do things a human would do, while the computer engineers helped teach the algorithm what it was looking at. But then on the 7th day, DARPA would make a classic tactical error by challenging the Marines. Apparently, with only 6 days of training, they wanted to see how well their artificial intelligence would stack up against the Marine Corps' 100% organic cran-fed fuckery. I'm gonna give you a hint, it didn't go well. The challenge was they were gonna set the robot up out in the open, and the Marines had to start from like 1,000 yards away, and they had to sneak up on the robot and touch it without ever being identified as a human. As soon as they said go, the first 2 Marines took off doing somersaults for the entire 1,000 yards. They made it all the way to the robot completely unidentified. And I can only assume that it is at this point that the computer engineers realized that they were going to have a bad day, because it only got more ridiculous from there. Another Marine went out in the woods, stripped all the branches off of a fir tree, dressed himself up like a tree, and then slowly, and I quote, walked like a fir tree all the way to the robot.
Comedy aside, let me give you some context of what's going on. The AI algorithm's looking for a human being, right? So all of a sudden you throw something in like, when I say human being, all the characteristics of a human being, right? Silhouette, the movement, the speech, the look of the face, all that stuff. If you start doing cartwheels, it's going to be like, that's not a human. If you dress up as a tree, it's going to be like, that's not a human. That's the data set. That's the AI not having enough data and understanding what it's looking for. Very smart from the Marines here. Very, very smart.
And then my personal favorite example, 2 Marines found a large box and then proceeded to do the old Metal Gear Solid trick where they use the Amazon Prime print camouflage to sneak all the way up to the robot and touch it. According to the author, you could actually hear them audibly giggling from inside the box the entire time. And this raises one very important question. How mad were these engineers? So I asked the author.
Well, in this case, I mean, it's a DARPA project, so it's just experimental, and they're trying to push the bounds. I don't know, I can't speak to the engineers. I mean, they might not have appreciated it. Maybe they did appreciate someone highlighting these problems. The program manager who relayed the anecdote to me was really pleased because they learned something. Right, they learned about the limitations of the system, and you'd really much rather find that out in a training environment than when you do it overseas in a war zone and the enemy does it. But it's good that they found it out early rather than before they'd invested hundreds of millions of dollars into this.
Okay, fine.
That's it. At the end of the day, like these type of things, like AI is definitely one-track minded. Artificial intelligence or machine learning is very one-track minded. They're looking for one thing. Right, so as soon as you throw something completely out of the box, or in the box in this case, then it just can't recognize it, and it's a good way of getting around the system. So hats off to the Marines. And yeah, that's a very, very interesting take on this.
Well, if he's not going to speak for the engineers, that leaves it open to my interpretation, and I think it went something like this.
I hate them.
In conclusion, I think the big takeaway from this story is that artificial intelligence is nowhere near ready to go toe-to-toe with the American grunt on the battlefield. Because regardless of how smart it is or how smart it gets, it's never going to be able to figure out what the grunts are doing until they're already doing it. Because the grunts don't know what they're doing until they're doing it. And you can't be 3 steps ahead of somebody that never knows where they're going. Because at the end of the day, historically speaking, the American military's only ever had one plan, and that's to show up and improvise. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
Apparently it has like bits of footage at the very end, I've heard. Maybe he doesn't on this video. Someone said to me on his other videos that he has like footage at the end of it, but it doesn't look like he does on that one. Great video. Really good video. As always, by the Fat Electrician. Like, his videos are always absolutely brilliant. I challenge him to do a video on the Royal Marines Commandos. If you're out there watching you, I wish I knew what your real name was, because I don't. Does he have Instagram? I think he does. Actually, yes, he does have Instagram because he DM'd me, but it was on the Dreadnought Meadery Instagram and not my personal Instagram. And then he didn't reply when I messaged him back. So if you're out there, message me. And also, I challenge you to make a video on the Royal Marines Commandos. I dare you. Maybe do that. Maybe do that video. Maybe do a video on that time when the British Marines did an exercise with the US Marines and demolished them. Maybe do a video on that. Just throwing out some fire. No big deal. No, I love his videos. I think his videos are brilliant. And I know that they're really good when I go out of my way and I watch them when I am not recording. That's how I determine that they're a good video or not. And this one is. There'll be a link in the description if you want to go and see it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps with that mysterious YouTube algorithm. And until next time, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.